Hey, what's up, guys? Tom here, doing another vinyl update. Yeah, move the camera real quick. Alright, yeah, doing another vinyl update here. This is going to be all hip-hop this time. I do have some CDs and tapes as well, but I'm still waiting on one or two more, so I'm going to wait on that. As usual, I might split this up into two videos. We'll see how it goes. But just getting to it. First up, I want to say thank you to Travis, Vinylonvideo, here on YouTube, and he sent me Public Enemy featuring Paris, Rebirth of a Nation. This is from 2006. Pretty good album in my opinion. It wasn't not one of their classic, albums obviously, but still pretty decent in my opinion. I haven't heard this in a long time. I just re-listened to it yesterday, and it actually kind of surprised me how much I enjoyed this. Public Enemy never really put out anything that bad, in my opinion. They definitely put out lesser material compared to their early stuff, I think. At least I'm assuming that everybody thinks that way, but yeah, this was pretty good though, pretty good. I think Paris goes along, compliments Public Enemy really well. So thank you, Travis. I really do appreciate this. I did get your note, by the way, and my package will be there today, I think. So I will be talking very soon. Thanks again, man. And to go along with that, actually, I did recently pick up, this is a weird coincidence, I picked up a couple Paris albums, his first two. There's first one being The Devil Made Me Do It from 1989. This was actually a promo, gold stamp promo there. If you don't know who Paris is, like I said, he is a conscious rapper from California, from San Francisco area, actually, I believe. And yeah, if you're just into that style hip-hop, the early 90s conscious stuff, definitely check it out. I think you'll enjoy it. Pretty dope. His first, I would say 3 or 4 are the ones to check out, but even later on, like he had an album in 2003, I think, called Jihad or Sonic Jihad, which ended up being pretty decent as well. So his second album, Paris is Sleeping with the Enemy, from 1992, I think this came out in. Yep, 1992, on Scarface Records, which I believe was his own label. I believe the first one came out on Tommy Boy. This one came out on Scarface, white label again. Yeah, just more conscious stuff from Paris, so definitely check it out if that sounds interesting to you. So keep it moving. Next up, we got another classic, in my opinion, Showbiz and AG. This was the Fat Pocket single off the Runaway Slave album. Just a couple different versions on here, instrumental, and it also got Silence of the Lambs remix as the last track. So everyone should know Showbiz and AG. I'm not going to talk about that for too long. This was also a promo, gold stamp promo, so got that cheap, definitely had to pick it up. Next up, we got, I bought with that previous one actually, which was Constant Deviance. This was a competition Catch Speed Knots. I know I've showed the white label of this not too long ago. This was the regular version. I hate that people put stickers on the labels. I was gonna say some idiot put a sticker on the label, but I don't know, maybe they just didn't know any better, unfortunately. I know people just don't think and they just do stuff like that, but it's a pain in the ass to get off afterwards without ripping it. Yeah, you guys know I'm a huge fan of Constant Deviance. I've talked about them before, so I'm not going to talk about this for too long, but the first single, really dope. Happy to get that. I got that relatively cheap as well, so I was happy about that. Next up, we got a rapper named Azriel, or I believe it's Azriel, but that's how you say it, A-Z-A-R-E-L. He is from somewhere out of Cali, I believe. I'm not sure where, either Cali or Washington. I thought it was Cali, I read, but not too much info about this guy. This particular single is on Ocean Records, and it has 2 tracks from his album, which I believe was just self-titled Azriel as well. The tracks are Bringin' It and Strugglin', which I believe are kind of the highlights of the album, in my opinion, those 2 tracks, but the album is pretty decent overall. This was I believe it's a mid-2000 album, 2004, 2005, something like that, so the single came out somewhere around there. Yeah, I got this for a penny, so I'm not going to complain about that, I got a bunch of stuff in like a lot, which a few things I got for a penny, so it ended up working out really well. Pretty decent, though, pretty decent. Mid-2000s hip-hop there, when, there wasn't too much good stuff coming out at that time. Next up we got a compilation by Lord Finesse called From the Crates to the Files. This is the 2 LP version. I know there's a 3 LP version as well, which is the official version. This is kind of the unofficial version, with just has a sticker cover there. But it's got all his really well-known tracks on here. You got Return of the Funky Man, Isn't He Something, Fat for the 90s, Set It Off, True, you know, just really well-known tracks. You Know What I'm About, featuring Big L, Tickin' Flavor with My Man with Percy P, classic track right there. Shorty's Caught Up in the System and the remix to that. So it says it has some previously unavailable tracks on here, but I'm sure they all came out by now because it came out a few years back. So 2003, I want to say this came out on. So yeah, this was just a pretty cheap comp, so I ended up picking it up. I did have the other version of this, but I couldn't find it. I tried to look for it, I couldn't find it. So fortunately, I think I might have sold it. I don't remember selling it though. So seems to be lost as of now. Lord Finesse, always been one of my favorites. Next up, we got actually a twofer kind of deal going on here. It is Dark Sun Riders featuring Brother J. Brother J being from X-Clan, obviously, and this was just a single for their upcoming album Seeds of Revolution. The track is just also self-titled Dark Sun Riders. So, like I said, I got 2 different copies of this, both promo copies. One has a blue label, one just a regular white label. The only difference is between these, all the tracks are the same except for one. On this blue label here, it has the track The Eclipse Begins, which is track 2 on the A side, which is actually a non-album track. So I thought that was pretty dope that they included that. And on the white label one here, it just has a different mix of the Dark Sun Riders or additional instrumental. So yeah, this one only has 4 tracks. Yeah, this one has 4 tracks as well. So sorry about that. I thought one had additional track, but yeah, Dark Sun Riders featuring Brother J. Dark Sun Riders is a track. The album was alright, nothing too fantastic in my opinion. It was a conscious album, kind of conscious hip hop. So if you guys never heard of them, check them out. Pretty decent. That's what Brother J kind of did after he left X-Clan. So there's that. It was a pretty good deal. I think I got both of these for a cent as well. So wasn't gonna pass on that. All right. After that, we got, pull a couple out here. We got Power Rule, which is a crew out of New York, NYC. I'm not sure where out of NYC exactly, but the tracks on here are Brick in a Wall, and the B-side is Let the Years Roll. Really dope early 90s hip hop. This came out in 1990. So they had an album too right around this time, I believe late 80s, early 90s. Neither of these tracks are on the album, so that's why I ended up picking this up. This is a promo copy also. Just happened to pick up a lot of promo copies this time around. Yeah, just really, really dope hip hop from New York City, early 90s stuff. Next up, we got a rapper out of my state, Connecticut, Crazy Noise from Steezo. This is actually a German pressing, by the way, so that's pretty cool. But yeah, not much to say about Steezo. If you don't know who he is, definitely check him out if you like that. Once again, late 80s, early 90s hip hop. This came out in 89. Yep, 1989, and it's a German pressing. So damn, look at the fucking jean jackets. You guys remember those jean jackets and shit from the 90s? Wow. Brings back some memories for sure. After that, we got a couple, couple albums from the same, not albums, but a couple vinyl from the same group. It is Sharpshooters, and Sharpshooters consists of DJ Sure and Mr. Supreme. This was their last album together, released in 2003, called Twice as Nice, which was kind of trip hop, hip hop stuff, which was a bit different compared to their earlier work, which was more kind of jazzy, kind of like acid jazz hip hop stuff. So still really dope though. I still definitely recommend this. This is actually supposed to have a picture cover, and mine didn't come with it, so that's why I got it in a discount. So along with the other one I'm going to show here. Yeah, but really dope stuff. And then we got Love Walked Past remixed, featuring MC Lot, from 2003 once again. Just a couple tracks taken off the album I just showed there, and then a previously unavailable track which was called Talking Dirty. That wasn't available on the vinyl. So if you guys don't know who Mr. Supreme and DJ Sure Shot were, they actually were the ones that started, co-started, wow, what was the record label? Blanking now. Is it Concentration Records? I want to say Concentration. Yep, Concentration Records out of Seattle, Washington. I don't know why I couldn't think of that. Yeah, they were definitely pioneers in the early 90s Seattle hip hop area there. So a lot of great stuff came out on that label as well. So I definitely recommend checking them out. Anything by them, really, Mr. Supreme and DJ Sure Shot, or just anything, any of the 90s stuff on Concentration. So I believe it's called Concentration. Something. Let me just check real quick because something's bothering me about that. Sorry about that, guys. Yeah, it's called Conception Records, not Concentration. Wow. Sorry, just, when you're in the moment, you're making a video trying to think of stuff and your mind just goes blank. So it's Conception Records, not Concentration. I'm not going to edit that because who really cares? But definitely check out anything on Conception Records. Like I said, anything from Sharpshooters. Their early stuff, like I said, was more jazzy hip-hop. Came out in the mid to later 90s. Yeah, that's it though. DJ Sure Shot, Mr. Supreme. Check out any of their stuff. So, sorry about that. Moving on. I'm glad I looked it up though, because I would have been giving you guys wrong information. Okay, so next up we got another 12-inch single. This one is the Super Friends and Danger Mouth. The Super Friends are let me say what the tracks are. Tracks are Vowel Movement by the Super Friends, which also has a remix, and Danger Mouth is Question, which also has a remix. The Super Friends are a collective, let's say a group collective of MCs and producers. There's a bunch of people in there. It includes Danger Mouth, obviously. Skills, also known as Mad Skills. Dr. Mindbender, who else was in there? Little Rock. There's a lot of people in there. I'm sorry, I'm not going to remember everybody, but they never came out with an album, like a full, real album. They came out with a bunch of singles, EPs, and also a couple compilation albums in the early 2000s, I believe. Came out with a couple comp albums. This is their second single, once again, Vowel Movement and Question. And this one came with a promo picture of, I believe it was Danger Mouth. Let's see. Yeah, it came with a promo picture of Danger Mouth, which is pretty cool. Seems like a perfect picture to get signed if I maybe meet him one day. That'd be pretty cool. But yeah, definitely check this out. Really, really dope collective. If you guys get a chance or can find any of their stuff, definitely check them out. Most of their stuff was from their best stuff, in my opinion, was from the mid-90s. So next up we got someone I'm not too familiar with. I'm not sure if this was a group or individual, but the artist is called Affiliation, and this was on Tommy Boy, obviously, in the when did this come out? Yeah, late 90s, 99. So the tracks are Dry Tears and To This on the B side. Each just has a radio and their normal version instrumental. Not too familiar with these guys. I don't know if they put out anything else. I haven't really researched them yet too much. Affiliation, I believe they're out of New York City. Could be wrong about that. If you guys know anything, just let me know. It's got a different spelling too. It's spelled A-P-H-I-L-L. So, moving on to some West Coast hip hop actually. Spice One, another promo, white label promo for Spice One's 1996 album. And it says right here, features a hit single, 1996, Get 'Em All with MC8, so you guys might remember that track. Spice One, this was his 4th album, I believe. Pretty sure that's right. And in my opinion, kind of his last great album. After that, he kind of started going downhill a bit, in my opinion, personally. Spice One is one of those guys. I'm not a huge gangster rap fan, but this dude definitely does it right. So definitely check out Spice One if you're not familiar with him. Any of his early stuff. I think it's called America's Wanted or America's Most Wanted, something like that. I believe his first album was subtitled, so any of his first 3-4 albums definitely check out. Moving on, we got a group called Rawcotics from NYC, I believe. These guys were a Dominican American hip-hop group. Tracks on here were Nevertheless, and is that what it's called? Yep, Nevertheless, and Real Heads on the B-side. These guys always fucking put out really, really dope hip-hop. I always loved whatever they put out, basically. This was mid-90s hip-hop. I want to say, is there a year on here? I know it was mid-90s. I don't remember what year it was, though. On Opposition Records, so definitely check them out. Rawcotics. Sorry if it seems like I'm not saying too much about each artist, but I got a lot of stuff here. I just want to get through it. Next up we got, I know I showed this before in one of my updates, but I found another copy of this really, really cheap, another penny grab. This was Educated Consumers with In the Pocket EP. Came out in 2004. It came out in 2004, so I know I've talked about Educated Consumers before. Their album Aisle 2 is always one of my favorites. Definitely check out that album. This one wasn't as good as the earlier stuff, but still pretty decent stuff. So yeah, definitely check out Educated Consumers if you're not familiar with them. Alright, next up we got some Chicago hip-hop. This group is called The Chamber, and the single is called Say a Little Something. Got a couple different mixes, and then another track called Don't Sleep on the B-side. So really dope ass Chicago hip-hop, man. If you're not familiar with these guys, definitely check them out. The Chamber. They have an album out too, which was it's a bit pricey to get. I'm trying to find it for a decent price. It usually goes for, I don't know, I've seen it go all the way up to like $80, which is ridiculous. I wouldn't pay that, but I think it usually goes for about like 40, somewhere around there. So definitely trying to find that. Next up we got a group I'm not too familiar with, once again, Black Government. I believe this is called, I'm not sure what the name of this EP is. I know it's an EP. I think it's just self-titled, the Black Government EP. I could be wrong about that. Yeah, sealed. I found this sealed. I'm really happy. It was, I guess it goes for not a lot of money, but a little bit of money. So I found this. Pretty happy to find 2 copies of the sealed. So, when I opened and checked out, pretty decent hip hop. It's kind of like the early '90s. I'm not even sure how to describe this. I guess like maybe a little bit like pro-black Afro, not Afrocentric, but yeah, just like conscious stuff. Black Government. Yeah, sorry, I don't know what to say about this. I don't know too much about them, so check them out. You might like them. And after that, we got a dude that I've definitely talked a lot about, Dr. Beckett. This was one of his latest releases right here with Drew's Gin. Now, if you guys listen to a Disposable Arts podcast that me and Jason and Alex from the Underground Vault were doing, we had a hell of a time trying to figure out how to say this dude's name, but the producer is, I guess, Drew's Gin, and rapper Dr. Beckett. This is a remix EP of their Zurich EP. It's called Zurich Revisited. Really nice picture disc there of Zurich. Really, really dope artwork on that, in my opinion. And the music is fantastic as well, obviously, but it's really cool stuff. cover ended up, it's pretty plain, which I completely understand since Dr. Beckett puts all this stuff out himself, and you can't, you know, not going to pay a shitload just to make the covers look amazing, which I completely understand. Picked up a couple 7 inches by him as well, which I don't think are available on any album. This one is the 1-2 remix, and on the B side it has Getting Lifted remix, another 7-inch picture disc here. Another picture disc. And then after that we got one more 7-inch called Higher, and the B side is just called A Little Bit Higher. So I believe this one came out in Germany actually, so it's a regular 7-inch there. Label, pretty dope label, just a shot from an airplane, same as the cover there. And that's what the label looks like. So, and one more thing from Dr. Beckett here. This is the Way of Life LP. I've been looking for this one for a while. Finally get to cross it off my want list. Kind of a pain in the ass to find. People are always asking crazy money for it, so I definitely appreciate person who hooked me up with this. You know who you are, so really thank you. Really do appreciate that. Alright, and let's get into my chopped herring pickups now. I know I've talked about these for a while, so finally got them. If you guys aren't familiar why I get with chopped herring, the reason it took so long to get here is because they only release stuff like, you know, they take the orders in for every release, and then they release the stuff once a month. So if you order stuff one month and then, you know, order all the stuff for next month, it could take like 2 months to get your stuff if you have them hold it or whatever, so it could take a while. But first up we got one of my favorite releases from them that they've ever done yet. We're going to be reviewing this on the podcast I just mentioned with me and Alex and Jason. It is Brass Tacks. This is the Game Is Like EP, basically just stuff from 96 to 97. They took some random stuff from each of the releases. Most of their stuff is really hard to get, so it's a bit pricey when you do come by it. So this is on colored vinyl. I don't remember what color this was, but it just looks like a transparent reddish. I think it was red and blue and transparent, if I remember correctly. But Chopped Herring always doing it right. They've never really disappointed me yet with any of their releases. All the packaging is basically the same, sticker cover. But if you guys never heard of Brass Tacks, they're a hip hop group out of Canada, Toronto more specifically. We're putting out 12 inches in the 90s, and EPs basically in the mid 90s. And this one has a few of the really well-known tracks, including the first track ever released, which was called Icebreaker Classic. Love that track. Has an alternate version of Cityscapes, which was unreleased previously, and I believe 2 unreleased tracks that we haven't heard before. So Brass Tacks out of Canada, definitely check this out. Like I said, we'll be doing a review for it on the podcast, so if you guys are interested, check that out. Next up, we got a Philly group called DOA, Dope on Arrival, and the EP is called Show Some Skills. Basically stuff from 92 to 93. I believe it was on colored vinyl as well. Kind of like a purplish marbled thing going on there, if you guys can see that. Just really dope early 90s Philly hip hop, that's all I'm going to say about that. There, yeah, completely missed the sleeve on that one. That was fucking nice. Okay. Sorry about that. Next up after that we got One Deep Crime Stories. The OG copy of this EP is really sought after, and I guess in the indie hip hop scene, so, or the collector scene, I should say, not really the indie scene, but the, you know, collectors really do search for this one. So really cool that they actually finally released it. In my opinion, this one's always been a bit overrated as to the price that it goes for. I was talking to another collector about this, and we kind of both agreed that it's kind of just a bit overrated considering what it is and how much it, people try to get for it. So One Deep Crime Stories EP, still really dope, but definitely not worth what people are asking for the OG copy. So I'm really glad that Chop Herring fucking did a reissue on this. Otherwise, I'd probably never buy it. Next up, I was really happy to see this one too. This is probably my second favorite out of everything I picked up in this this haul here. This was definitely my favorite, my second favorite. This was local, unreleased Connecticut hip hop. Deep Concentration Camp is kind of the name of the collective, bunch of different people. It's the Aggravated Vaults EP, 93 to 95. So the artists on here are FDC, KZ Storm, Lonnie O, Black Dick, he's on here a couple times, and yeah, each artist has, I believe, 2 tracks. So produced by AC Smooth, really dope producer out of New Haven. I really love this this EP. It's right up there with Brass Tacks for me, and a really nice color too, a nice like light purplish. I'm not sure what they called this, but really nice colored vinyl on that. Deep Concentration Camp, Aggravated Vaults EP. Definitely check it out online. I know they have a few, sample up online, so check it out. After that, we got Endangered Elements, Heights of Elevation EP. This is stuff from 93 to 94. More Toronto hip-hop, Canadian stuff. Really dope stuff. Wasn't too familiar with these guys before Chop Herring dropped it, but I guess one guy is actually from Canada, or 2 are from Canada, and 1 came over from the UK in the early 90s, and they ended up forming this group, I guess, kind of in high school, around that time when they were in high school. More colored vinyl. This is kind of like a black and gray, I would say. Kind of reminds me of like Smoke. Yeah, but really dope Canadian stuff, which I was quite familiar with. Endangered Elements. Check them out. And the last Chop Herring for this pickup is going to be Natural Elements, All Hail NE. It's called the All Hail NE EP. Natural Elements. I'm pretty sure I talked about Natural Elements on my channel before. They're a group out of New York City. Definitely one of my favorite hip hop groups to ever do it. This one has some of the tracks they were releasing recently. They put out some new material back in 2013, so hopefully they're going to be doing a full-length project soon, an album. This one basically was just some of those tracks, and also a couple tracks that were only available on one of their CDs, so I'm going to have to put it on vinyl before this. And did I show this? Yeah, I don't think I showed this one. This was a silver and black color combination. Kind of similar to the last one, but not really, more silver. Less marble in this one. I think that was it for the, I do have one more, but it's not here. I don't have it here. I did pick up the Pauly Yams and DJ Jazz EP as well. Really dope EP too, so. Okay, so 2 more here. We got 2 more, guys. Stick with me. We got Concrete Mob, another Canadian hip-hop group. Really showing love to Canada here, which is great because, I think that Canada has some great hip-hop stuff, and sometimes they just don't get talked about. So, yeah, Concrete Mob. They're only 12-inch from 1996. Well, not they're only 90s 12-inch, I should say. They did have a couple more in the early 2000s. So, Concrete Mob. The tracks on here are Boiling Point, usually called the Boiling Point 12-inch or the Boiling Point EP, and Casino and Sleepless Nights for 3 tracks that are on here. Definitely check them out. Concrete Mob. Great stuff out of Toronto, I believe. And the last one here was definitely a grail for me. Considering I've had this on CD for the longest time, trying to find the vinyl for a decent price, it's always been a pain in the ass. So I guess we'll end off kind of strong here, or at least strong in my opinion. This dude was one of my favorite rappers for the longest time, and definitely still is. But Ill Bill, What's Wrong with Bill? The album finally got on vinyl. Like I said, I've had this on CD forever. Finally able to get it for a great price on vinyl. People always want like at least $70 for it, so bit too much. When I knew I could get it cheaper if I just waited it out, and I finally did. I got it for probably about half that, maybe a little bit less than half. So yeah, produced by Necro. Fucking just a few features on here, but all in that psychological camp. You know, Necro, Gore-Tex, Mr. Hyde, Sabak Red. You guys should probably all know this album if you're watching my channel, so if you don't know it, definitely go check it out. Well, if you're into hip-hop, that is. If you're not into hip-hop, you might not really like it. It's, best way to describe it, I guess, is kind of like that conspiracy. I don't really want to call it horrorcore, because it's not really horrorcore, but it's more like kind of conspiracy type stuff. Yeah, I don't know, I really love it. It's just great kind of hardcore hip-hop, so I don't know what to say about this. I love Ill Bill. He's such a dope rapper. He always does it, you know, really fucking awesome. He's always great at what he does. He's never really disappointed me in the past yet, so just really happy to have this album. And I guess that's it, guys. Thank you very much for sticking with me if you made it here to the end. Like I said, I'll be back shortly with my with my CD and tape update. So I did pick up a decent amount of cassettes this time as well. Found a good deal on those. So I think that's it. Just want to make sure I don't miss anything, so I don't have to wait till next month to show it. No, that's it. So thank you all very much for watching, and I'll see you guys soon. Peace.